Welcome.
It's always easy.
Grandpa Canuck here.
Oaths and promises in the light of day.
And we're in War Hospital.
Predictable every
From the
day
info.
life. But when darkness comes, only your survival instinct can guide your decisions.
He couldn't make it, sir.
Mud and the smell of death are friends who will always judge you. Can your own suffering redeem you for decisions that are never completely right?
Well, there we go. This is a first look, introduction of War Hospital. It's been released more than a month, less than 2. There's been 6 good patches since the release. I picked this up yesterday. And it is a management style game. And in this particular case, you are running a World War I hospital. Let's get into it. New game. Continue where I was. Chapters. Load a game. Options. And credits. Under the options, gameplay, graphics, and audio. Go. We'll just turn that down a little bit. This is the highest resolution that the game will currently run at, and this is the settings that I use. I'm going to increase the brightness a little bit. Very gloomy, like World War I. Languages: English, Polish, French, Italian, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, I'd say Chinese, 2 different Oriental languages, 3, 4, 4. Okay. And there are tutorials that will come on and give you clues as to what you're doing or what you're trying to do. Let's hit the new game. Well, the chapters, if you completed chapters, there's currently 3, and there's a DLC which adds another special, I believe, chapter to it. These continue one after the other, although a number of game items are reset between the chapters. So if you play continuously, at the end of chapter 1, there is a reset of morale and various other supplies, etc., before you go into chapter 2. But your staff stays the same. Oh, in the background, that's my birdies, Bonnie and Clyde. My 2 pet green-cheeked conures. They love to participate in the conversation. And we'll probably talk a little bit here and there. New game. Tribute to all medical services. Honor their memory. Being a retired military historian, I've talked to many veterans. Dear son.
My dear son.
Vocals.
I was unable to stop the events that led to the fact that today I am going to the front and you are no longer there. You cannot imagine how much pain I carry in my heart. With your death, I question the sense of my continued existence. But fate throws me to a place where I might be able to save your colleagues and many others.
It's bringing us into the actual hospital mapping, which is where you will play the game, spend most of your time.
Hello, sir. My name is Dressing, the head doctor of this hospital. If I may speak freely, sir, we expected more than just an officer's rank to support our current situation. The Hun could break through our lines at any moment now.
Head Doctor, mind your tongue. This is our new commander in charge. Sir, I'm delighted that someone with your experience is joining us. I recall your work in London very well.
Praveen Kumar, head engineer. If you want something done, you should come to me, sir.
Major Henry Wells. As you all know, I was directed here to manage this hospital. I will count on your professionalism, regardless of your private opinions about me.
If I may, sir, we have wounded that are already waiting in Casualty Clearing Station. We should tend to them first.
Agreed. We should not let them wait any longer.
To start, decisions must be made about their fate, sir. Their files are already waiting for you in Casualty Clearing Station.
Okay, and that's where the game starts. Now, scrolling over the map, you can see we have our hospital set up in this badly damaged city. We have several building complexes. I guess the operating ward will go as the focal center of it. There's the CCS, or the Casualty Clearing Station. This is where the patients wait for the operating ward. So this is the holding area. Now, there is trenches that you get into once the game gets going, and therefore there's an advanced dressing station where the wounded come out of the trenches that are defending your sector, and medics and ambulances can bring them back to the Casualty Clearing Station. Of course, the operating ward. You do have staff lodging, a canteen, a rehabilitation center, a pharmacy, a warehouse, a train station, the scout tent, the engineering depot, and of course, right nearby, the cemetery, because you can't save them all. Now, each of these structures can be zoomed in on, and you can get a rotated view of the area. So this is the surgery. Staff lodgings. Canteen, which is all of your food supplies. The rehabilitation center, which is very, very simple and straightforward. Scout tent, where your scout team stays. The scout team comes along after the first little bit of the game, and they investigate and look into things in the countryside around the hospital. They could solve problems. They could find resources. There's a number of things that they can do. The engineering depot, of course, this is where supplies are all, stored. The warehouse. So this is where the goods we use in the game, medical purposes. So we have bandages for surgical. We have trauma and chemicals, foods, alcohol, and basic resources. Then those can be made into other things at pharmacy. Now, the pharmacy is an area that can be developed, and you can make various things here. So surgical supplies, trauma medicine, and chemical. The train station is typical of the period train station. It does have a schedule and what's arriving, so you get an idea of what's coming. Personnel does give you a detailed account of not only personnel you order, but wounded coming in as well. And of course, supplies you order, plus regular items that come from HQ. Small amounts of food and basic resources. And then, of course, we have the cemetery. This is where all the ones who don't make it now, it does keep the records and statistics in the cemetery, so you'll know how you do. Each of these buildings does have the ability to go to other things, so you can go see the patients, etc. I see the staff lodging as kind of a central location where I can look at many things. You manage your staff here, and you can get a listing of all of your staff. Start with one doctor, medic teams, nurses, engineers. Your medic teams work in groups of 2, so you have 3 of them. Assignments is where you have people assigned. So let's assign 2 here and 1 here. The nurses, we have 2. So we'll put 1 in the casualty clearing station, and we will put 1 in the operating ward for now. Engineers, they can't do anything until you have the ability to make things, and you don't start with any scouts. So in making things, that would be improvements. So there are 4, I guess what you would call tech trees to it, and each give various improvements that can make surgeries easier, make them quicker, make more success chance. And remember, there's the 3 types of surgeries: the standard surgery ward, the chemical ward, and the trauma ward. There's also rehabilitation improvements as casualty clearing station improvements. So you can do various things to improve all of those. You need housing for your staff. You start with the basic levels here, and you can add staffing, medical team rooms, nurse rooms, engineering rooms, and basic amenities. Okay, decreases rest time needed for units by 10%. Also, production. Production falls into 4 categories. The canteen, which is food supplies. There's a crossover here with the engineering depot. So there are various enhancements that can be done there. The pharmacy, which is, remember, is where you can make various things, like a distillery, additional fermenting flasks, reagents production, stress relievers production, herb greenhouse. And then there's warehouse improvements, each of those areas. Now the scouting, once you get into scouting, you get the scouting tent is the first thing you can do. And there's such things as dog kennels, scout team expansion, and the tent improvements. There is a scout map board as well. So those are the major 4 areas of improvements. The trains, as we looked at before, you can see there's a listing of them all from here. And the warehouse, you can see all of your supplies and everything that's available. Your food rations are full at 160. The cemetery and the canteen. You can put people on half rations, regular rations, and you can unlock a higher level of rations as well. There also is here is how many you have to feed all together, and how many are hungry, how many are starving, and the various effects. Gives you lots of information for you to work with. Okay. There we go. That is the overview of the situation. The advanced dressing station does not come into play until the first attack. So what this game is simulating is the casualty flow during World War I. You were generally wounded on the battlefield, and very close to the battlefield at a safe location was a dressing station. From the dressing station, if you were fortunate enough, they would transport you in one way or another, either locally right back to the casualty clearing station. And from the casualty clearing station, you would make your way to generally a hospital or surgical unit. So in this case, we have a straight operating ward. Now, from the operating ward, you would have a short rehabilitation center. And from the rehabilitation center, your people incoming into the rehabilitation center, 3 things would generally happen to them. One, it was a fairly minor wound, and you'd be sent right back to the trenches, to your unit. If you needed longer to recuperate from your wound, you'd be sent to the headquarters area where there were convalescent camps. And then you'd make it back to the front. Maybe not in the same unit, but chances are they would try and get you back with the same unit. And then there were those unfortunate that were hurt severe and needed to be released from duty. So this is the options of anybody that you cure. what you can do. Now, there's a defensive area right in front of the hospital, so defending your local front, and that is what sent to the trenches is here. So when there are attacks coming towards the hospital, you have to have enough troops, and that's what this is for, getting people who recover to fight to defend your hospital before there's advances, shelling, bombardment, etc. You have to have an adequate supply of troops, otherwise you will take more casualties, causing yourself more work and causing possible damage to the hospital. If you send to the HQ, you will get something called military drafts. Military drafts are what you spend. They're kind of like the cash of the game. The military drafts are what allows you to order supplies, pay for the various improvements, etc. Release from duty has an effect of knowing that your morale goes up. You save someone's life even though it might not be 100%, and they're released from service going home to be safe, and therefore the game gives you a morale boost on that. So those are the three areas. One of the areas you spend the most time in is the casualty clearing station. Okay. Once again, you can go to the improvements, the assignment, the station. Inside here, you will have your 3 wards. Now we only start with 1. Any patients that come in, and what you're going to do with the patients. So we're going to set this guy for surgery with this doctor. And as you have more doctors, etc., and you will develop options such as amputation. Amputation can save on supplies and save on the amount of time, but after amputation, well, it was called getting your blighty. You got to go back to England, and of course you see the war no more. So if you do that, you don't have them available to go to HQ to get your essentially cash, or go to defend the front. Okay, so that's the basic overview of the game, and the gameplay starts from here, and it gets more complex as it goes on. The longer you play, the more difficult, the more tasks, the more challenging stuff, the more decisions you have to make. So it's very much based on your decisions on how do you go about. Do you want to deal with high levels of food, low levels of food? How will that inspire your staff? How much staff do you want? Do you want more nurses? Do you want more medics running the people around? Do you want more engineers to make more of your own supplies? Or forego the cost of the engineers and buy all your supplies? The operating ward, you have the 3 wards. When do you set up the 2nd and 3rd ward? How many doctors and physicians do you want? And that essentially is down here in the train station. As you can see, surgeons, physicians, and trauma specialists, as well as engineers, medical teams, nurses, and scouts. So what staff? You have to have the housing to go over certain levels. This is all decisions you get to make. Ordering of your supplies as well. And then there's the schedule for the set supplies, small amounts of food, and basic resources that come in as well. Okay, there's various options, and it is very story driven. There's a lot of interesting things that come in. Some of the stories involve VIPs that come as casualties in various ways, what they ask for, what HQ asks for. HQ can make requests of you. Again, managing everything. So time, personnel, resources all come together. So that is the game. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this overview. I will be producing a series of gameplay of the game here. I will be putting that on Twitch on a regular basis. As well, once the videos are produced, it'll go to YouTube, and you can watch them on YouTube. If you watch on Twitch or YouTube, please follow me to get the updates. And if you like what I'm producing, tell me about it. I think during my series of gameplay, I'm going to have a little added extra. I'm a military historian. I've done a lot of research in my time. And one of the things I did was produce a couple of books with World War I letters home. So I think as we play the game, I will find those books and read those letters so we get a feel from the soldier's viewpoint. And some of them are from surgeons and nurses, and some of them from people who are in this healing process. And they do talk about the casualty clearing stations, getting your blighty, getting an amputation, etc. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate the follow. Look forward to producing this series. It's good to be here, and everyone have a good time. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.